What's good, everyone? Zuukle here, back again with another video, and in today's video we're going to be going over the IRONSING Underdog build. So it is a very strict build. There's only 2 races you can use in order for this build to be, usable basically. So first race is Grimoire and the second is Vesperian. The reason why you need these 2 races because 1, Grimoire gives you 1 point or 2 points into fortitude and 2 points into strength, right? So if I were to go over there, as you can see, 2 points in each, and that's very viable. That's what we need. Secondly, Vesperian. The reason why I always go Vesperian because not only do you get a 5% damage reduction, 100 points here, so instead of having to spend like an extra 2 points to put into fortitude in our willpower, it's just a little bit easier. Okay, so this is how the build usually start out with. I go like fortitude, 9 willpower, and then I'm gonna have like 10 points into my IRONSING, right? So that's how you should usually start out. The reason why I do that is because with 9 willpower you can get the prayer beads for free, and all you gotta do is just buy the little boulder for a fortitude upgrade. And then Vesperian or Grimoire, you always got to use Ardor because you need Ardor Scream. And for build, because it is a very tanky build, I went with Sacred Field just to add on to it. I did get a corrupted variant with a lot of physical resistance, so it helped me out. I was able to tank the Etheron's ult and do all this kinds of crazy stuff. So I will be dropping that build. I'm going to be dropping that video later on. For Oath, I always go blind here because Silence Beam, if you don't know, it can easily do about 10k damage per beam. So put a bless on it and just fire away. You're never going to lose. Origin, you can use whatever origin you want. I usually just go deep down. I will be making a new video on how to deep down, so keep an eye on. For outfits, I always go ignition deep delver because if you spam parries in the midst of like hell mode and something tries to bite you, something like tries to kick you, stuff like that, you can parry those. It's very easy. For my vitality, erudition, proficiency, stuff like that, I used to go 6 vitality, but I've been sacrificing 20 HP for extra damage. And then I always go 2 erudition. It's good for venting, it's good for ether and all that good stuff. Proficiency, I always go 3, and song channel, I always go 3. A good 15% increase in mantras is nice, but if you really want to make it where like you do insane amount of damage, because already with the build I have now with this like the same stats and all, I can one-shot squibbles with the 1 crit, even with the recent nerfs to nullifying clarity and all that stuff. And I can go over that later on. For boons, I always go survivalist because it's very good in layer 2s, and I always go steadfast because armor is very important, especially when you're doing layer 2s or if you're very new at the game. And for flaw, I always go simple because if you're going to make a Shrine of Order build, you don't want to keep a lot of flaws on the build. Alright, this is how I started. I went 50 points into fortitude, 50 points into willpower. Then you can get your unfazed, you can get your reinforce, you can get your exoskeleton to the finish, stuff like that. Then you can get your underdog and all your mental fortress talents. From there you go 90 fortitude so you can grab your reinforced armor, and after that you need to go 80 willpower. Now you're at level 11. You should be a little bit more tanky and more safe when you travel the depths, because you do need to go to the Widow Nest in order to farm your insanity. From here, go 100 fortitude, 100 willpower. That's when you get brick wall. 100 of each gets you brick wall. Does not get you brick. You probably cut that out. And then from there, I go immediately to 70 heavy weapon. And then here's the talents you're going to be needing. So grab your brick wall, grab your defiance, your grand support, exoskeleton to the finish, fishman if you need it. Neuroplasticity is very good. Piercing will, special claws, warrior's respite, loot skipper, Impervious Slumber, Blood Iron Spirit, and Scuba Drowner. Here's some of the top common cards you're going to need. You're going to need your Underdog and Giant Slayer. Get your Uproar, get your Last Resort. Grab your Old Habits Die Hard. Grab all your Mental Fortress cards. Grab your Health Pack. Grab your Armor Conserver, because it does stack with Steadfast. And then if you can, grab Replenishing Knockout because it does stack up with Grand Feast. Grab your Steel Scales, Padded Armor. Grab your Unfazed. If you want, you can grab your Turtle Shell, but honestly, I don't even need it. This is situational. This is actually preference if you want to get one-handed training or not. And then always grab your Heretic Sutra. So as you guys can see, you will be needing a lot more rare cards later on. I'll show you guys that here in a bit. But you're going to be needing about 17 to 20 rare cards on the build, and you do shrine at 17, so just keep that in mind. From there, this is when you guys shrine, and it's gonna look something like this. But I ended up with 62 heavy weapon, right? Go 30 points into strength because you will be needing your lose your mind. You're gonna be needing your carnivore, stuff like that. And then go 80 points into IRONSING, and then you can put 5 more points into your heavy weapon if you really want to, but because no flying clarity is extra damage and it doesn't cost as much, I put the 5 points into intel. From here, these are the cards you're gonna have to grab. I grabbed Scrap Singer. You probably do not need it. I don't see it proc nearly as often as I wanted to on like bigger mobs, but on humanoid NPCs it does work. So to each their own. You don't need to grab it. It does not have any PVE scaling. Me personally, I just like seeing the little swords behind me. Grab your Wyvern Claw, grab your Carnivore, grab your Lose Your Mind. You can grab your Bulldozer, and then I did go Impaler, basically letting me do extra damage to stuff like Duke, Ferryman, or Chaser. And then I did grab Phantom's Edge, IRONSinger's Instincts too. So this is a very good talent to have because it gives you extra armor every time you dodge. So like I said, look at it, you guys gonna need about 22 rare cards, but there's some of these cards you just don't need. For example, you can get rid of your Loot Skipper, you can get rid of Bulldozer if you're just doing hell modes, and I think that's about it. So 20 cards exact. And if you're really tight on rare cards, you can get rid of like Define and Grand Support because you're probably not going to be grabbing Reinforce. Grab your Thorn Mail, grab your Grand Feast, grab your Heavy Hitter, grab your No Flying Clarity and Charge Return, grab your Berserker, grab your Ardor Scream, and then there's a lot of like I really need, but if you want to grab them, go ahead. It is your build, and that's going to be it for the talents. So for mantras, I did metal. Here's the thing about Metal Gatling, it was cool and it works on most mobs, but it just does not, it's just not reliable, so I did not even bother with it. I did get Iron Slam because it has a instant posture break like all mobs in the area. Grab your Metal Armament because at level 5 this thing is insane. Grab your Oxidizing Rush because again another multi-hitting mantra and it hits everything in the vicinity. Grab your Metal Rain. Caltropes is your main weapon here, your main mantra. This one does like 3,000 to 4,000 damage per mantra or per cast. Grab your Metal Ball, grab your Reinforce, grab your Sightless Beam, and that's probably gonna do it. You can grab stuff like Tranquil Circle or Iron Skin because if you're doing a lot of Aetherons and you want your natural armor back, Iron Skin with the talent actually gets you back your natural armor without having to sit at a campfire. Me personally, I use Brace because hell mode, but you can replace it for Iron Skin. And then for your weapon, you will be using the Ebon Spear, and for enchants, honestly just use whatever. Me personally, I would use the Curse of Bloodthirsty or Umbral Knight, so I'm just gonna put that up there for you guys. And then for rings, you don't really need anything. Yeah, you're gonna need your strength and your willpower rings, but other than that, if it has a lot of DVM, equip it. I wouldn't suggest using an Ishin ring unless you want to do, you know, absolute like a lot of damage. Like 10% extra damage is not bad at all. And then from there, I'm gonna put the stat order in the notes and in the summary, so if you guys haven't already, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.